Hi guys, welcome to Hampshire Outdoors and Survival. Mickey here. I hope you're all having an awesome day wherever you are. Let's have a look at bugs, critters, nasties that will bite you and mess you up. Let's get into it. So, first thing to be aware of, guys, with all these creatures here, the first thing you need to consider is anaphylaxis. Okay? Just because it's not toxic, is it something that could cause anaphylactic shock? In your expedition kit, you should have EpiPens with you, and you should make sure that you are trained and know how to recognize, anaphylaxis and how to treat it. And it's always going to require hospital treatment. You're going to try and stabilize it, control it, and get them to help ASAP. Right, that said, I won't mention anaphylactic shock at any other point in the video, but just be aware with all these species, that could be what it is. Might not necessarily be toxic or the venom itself, it could be anaphylactic shock. And some of the smallest and most non-lethal will cause it. So I'm going to do a rough run through. Now, I'm not mentioning things like centipedes because they're quite limited in their locations. Millipedes, again, same thing, not necessarily all over. I'm just going to go through the top critters that will affect you pretty much everywhere in the world. Okay, so firstly, it's mosquitoes. Mosquitoes are a stinker. We all know that. I don't think any of you has never been bitten by mosquitoes. They are a swine. 3,000 species, but only 200 of which bite. They're universally hated throughout the world. Okay, they're also believed to be the deadliest creature on the face of the planet. They're responsible for the deaths of more things than anything else. They carry all sorts of diseases, and they also carry parasites. Now, with a majority of bloodsuckers, they're regurgitative creatures. So what they will do is they will latch on, burrow in, attach to you, draw blood, and then at the point of release, they will inject blood to assist them in releasing. So they're injecting or ingesting into you from their gut. None of these creatures have a sterile gut, i.e. their gut doesn't break down the material and therefore destroy any parasites or nasties. So it gets injected back into you. But not all cases are they going to be carrying something bad. However, mosquitoes are known to carry malaria, yellow fever, Zika virus, as well as a whole host of parasites, including heartworm and lungworm, which are deadly in your dogs and cats and can be very dangerous to human beings. Lifespan from mosquitoes, about 5 to 6 months, and only the females draw blood. Okay, they require any standing water to breed. As small as a thimbleful of water, they will find it, they will breed in it. And even if that water dries up, the eggs can desiccate and then rehydrate, and the whole thing starts to go again. Treatment for mosquitoes. Well, prevention is better than cure. So make sure you've got a mosquito head mask or head net. Keep your body covered. Treat yourself with an insect repellent. Okay. Find which insect repellent works for you. Some can cause a little bit of a sting or a burn or a reaction on people. So again, try a little area first. Make sure you don't react to it. Use that insect repellent. There are natural methods you can use. Things like garlic, things like alliums or onions will help to prevent these creatures from latching onto you. In the summer months, I eat a lot of onions. I take in a lot of garlic. And I've even been known to rub myself down with garlic leaves or wild garlic leaves on the exposed skin in places where I'm suddenly finding I'm under attack. Okay, so prevention is better than cure in nearly all these cases. All right, treat yourself, prevent them from getting to you. If you do become ill after a mosquito bite or you travel abroad, one of the things you can do, especially in the UK, is contact the London School of Tropical Medicine. Tell them where you've been in the world. Tell them you've been bitten. You go up, it's a simple blood test, easy peasy, get it treated from there. So that's mosquitoes. Nasty little critters. Don't like them much. Next one we're going to cover is ticks. Okie doke, ticks. Exactly the same problem really there. They're 1 millimetre to 1 centimetre in length. Hang by their back legs from grass, bushes and vegetation. Wait for something to come across. Latch on. Get under the clothing. Latch in. Okay? Tend not to know they're there till it's too late. The first thing you realise about it is you go, oh, what the hell's that? You'll turn to your mate and he'll go, oh, you got a tick on you. Right, top tip. Don't try and take it off with a cigarette. Don't try and put Vic on it. Don't put salt on it. Don't put acids on it, vinegar on it, anything like that. The one thing you don't want to do with a tick is make it regurgitate. Okay. Now the tick stays on for about 24 hours and it regurgitates blood to help it let go. It burrows its head into you. So what it does, it regurgitates blood. That assists it in pushing out of you and getting away. That's where you get the infection from. If you find a tick on you, use a tick puller. Now these tools are specially designed to go under the tick's head and pull the head out as well. You slip it on, slide it round, pull him off before the tick knows it, before he's had a chance to go, he's gone. Okay, now any tick bite, even if you've successfully removed it, needs to be monitored for 3 months. Okay, any time through the 3 months you get any strange, wonderful, weird rashes that sit there, come up round it, grow around it, or if you get the classic bullseye rash, you need to seek immediate medical attention. You need a blood test to check for Lyme's disease. Okay, if you develop flu-like symptoms at any time afterwards, or any symptoms of illness afterwards, to the hospital, the doctors. I've been bitten by a tick. I've developed this within the 3 month period. I want a blood test. Okay, get checked for Lyme's disease. Lyme's disease is awful. It is a debilitating disease. It can remain dormant for up to 3 months in the body before it starts to show its symptoms. Okay, so again, the best thing to do is avoid them. I wear trousers that are elasticated at the bottom that go over my boots. I treat my trousers, my boots and my skin with the insect repellent. I do everything I can to keep these little blighters off. Okay, so at the end of the day, that's ticks, and they are everywhere, on every continent of the planet, including Antarctica, where they live on penguins. Poor old penguins. If it's not tough enough down there already, they got ticks. Anyhow, let's come away from those horrible ones. Let's go to something that always fascinates me. Spiders. Now, I've got a healthy fear of spiders. Most people do have. You see that big furry thing coming across the carpet towards you, your instinct is to go, whoo. Right, there's an interesting fact for you. And this really came out in my research recently. I've travelled all over. I go somewhere, I do my research, find out what the deadly spiders are there. I wasn't aware that we had deadly, and I mean deadly spiders in the UK, right? And they've been here for a long time, and they've known that they've been here for a long time. However, when was the last time you heard of somebody being savaged by a spider? You haven't in the UK. And why? Because spiders aren't naturally aggressive to people. They live in a little corner somewhere, eating their insects, getting on with their life. They don't want to mess with you. The only time that somebody gets bitten by a spider is inadvertently. You've interfered with him, become a threat to him, poked him, prodded him, picked him up, chucked him out the window, whatever. It's a self-defense thing, okay? Leave him alone, he leaves you alone. Simple as that. A little bit of respect's due. So, I've had a look into spiders, and there's 43,000 species of spider, only 30 of which are actually dangerous to human beings. So what I've done, I've listed the top, I think it's 6 there. Let's have a quick look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9. Top 9. And this was taken from Wikipedia as the top 9 lethal spiders in the world. So I'm going to give you what they are, where they live. You can do your research from there. Okie doke. So firstly, we have the brown recluse spider. He lives in the States, and apparently he's really naughty. Okay, He's got a bit of a bite to him and he can kill. So there we go. Next one is the Brazilian wandering spider. Okie doke. Well, I thought, right, okie doke, where's he from? South America originally, Brazil. Wonderful, not a problem. He can stay in Brazil. No, he's already here. Okay, transported over with bananas. Okay, the egg sacs are quite often laid within clumps of bananas, get shipped abroad, could be anywhere in the world. Okay, but when was the last time somebody in London or in the UK got bitten by one? They haven't been. Simple as that. They're here. They're not a danger. Next one after that was the yellow sac spider, which I've never come across before. Bit of an ugly critter. That's another worldwide species and is lethal to humans. Okay, wolf spiders. Now there are many subspecies of wolf spiders, not all of which are toxic to people. Live again all over the world, not an issue. One that surprised me was the black widow. Okay, now we've all heard of the black widow and how lethal that is. Yeah, he's worldwide as well, including the UK. That's a bit worrying. Looking down after that, have the brown widow. That's worldwide as well, originated in South America. Okay, the funnel web spider. Well, I know he's here because I've actually photographed him and had a look at them. We got those on training areas in the UK. They came over with the Australian Army during the Second World War. Cheers, Aussies. But again, it's not an aggressive spider unless you're interfering with it. Okay. Another one from Australia, which, thank goodness, stayed in Australia and Southeast Asia, was the redback. Okay. Your redback spider, you can have him and keep him. We don't want him over here. Now, last two is the six-eyed sand spider. Now, that's found in Africa and it burrows into sand. Okay. Obvious thing that happens there, people travelling barefoot or in flip-flops or small shoes, tread on a spider zaps them. Not good. Okay, and lastly, the mouse spider, which, thank goodness, lives in South America and stays there. The mouse spider, yeah, Google it. Ugly critter, you don't want that. So, you've probably met one of these swines at some time in your life and just gone, oh, it's a bloody spider, I'll get it out, love, not a problem. Yeah. Be a bit more cautious in future. Now, if you're out wild camping, doing your thing, top tips with all these creatures: shake your bedding out, shake your clothing out when you get up in the morning, tap your shoes out, make sure there's nothing in there that could zap you. It's not happened before, doesn't mean to say it can't happen. Okay? It's the same procedures you would use if you were living or staying or visiting a tropical climate. Shake your gear out. Okay? Easy as that. Now, the other thing I need to say to you is if you find you are bitten by a spider anywhere in the world, absolutely anywhere, seek medical advice. That spider's powerful enough to actually penetrate your skin and make you go, ow. You've got to start thinking to yourself, is it a dangerous spider? If you don't know a lot about spiders and you can't positively identify it, try and trap it. Glass jar over it, paper under it. We've all done that. Right? If need be, then photograph it, slide it into a Tupperware box, take it with you, whatever you need to do. But yeah, there are many different types of venom in spiders, act in different ways, and if the hospital knows what the species is, they're going to know how to treat it. Okay, so there we go. Identification is key with most of these creatures, funny enough. The next one we'll come to, related to the spider, is the scorpion. Okay, scorpions, fantastic creature. Okay, couple of things you to know there. One, they're very easy to find. Okay, a black light will illuminate a scorpion in the dark from up to 6 feet away. Absolutely fantastic. Means they're easy to locate, easy to find. If you're somewhere where they're prevalent, you can probably find them and have a great time watching them, because I find them absolutely fantastic and fascinating. Again, not an aggressive species to human beings. They don't track you down. They don't hunt you. What happens? Somebody moves a log, they pick up a stone, they poking them, prodding them, and what's the scorpion going to do? Get off, leave me alone. Okay. Now, there is a myth out there that the only lethal scorpions are the small species. That's absolute rot. Okay. Some of the larger species are lethal as well. Okay. And sometimes can be confused. Some of the there's several species of black scorpion. large black scorpion, and some of which are very nasty. Okay, now when you're out and about, again, same rules apply as with spiders. Shake your gear out, shake your clothing out. So there are 2,000 species of scorpion. Only 25 pose a threat to human beings. Okay, learn to identify them and their habits if you're traveling. I'm going to give you the 6 most lethal scorpions as known to man or Wikipedia at the moment. But like I say, there are 25 species you need to be aware of in your travels. And again, scorpions can be found living in the UK. They come over the docks, they come over with equipment being shipped, and then they've spread out from there. They've got no natural predator. Okay, and the same goes for a lot of other countries. They live quite happily in a lot of other countries. How often do you hear of somebody being zapped by one? Very, very rarely. Okay, so lethal scorpions. We'll start with the most commonly lethal, or the most common scorpion, and he lives in the US of A, and he's a bark scorpion. However, there have been no deaths in 40 years, or no reported deaths in 40 years. So again, he's there, he's common, only 40 years ago somebody died from him. So, it just goes to show them a bit of respect, be sensible, be clever around them, and they'll probably leave you alone. And the next one is, it's a great name, this, the spitting black fat-tailed scorpion. Now, he lives in Africa and the Middle East and is lethal to human beings. The yellow fat-tailed scorpion, he also lives in Africa, that's Southeast Asia. He's lethal to human beings. The Brazil, you've got some dodgy buggers out there. Brazilian yellow scorpion. He loves, apparently, tip here, he loves urban as well as rural areas. Okay, he's lethal. If you're covering more back towards Europe, you're liable to come across the Arabian fat-tail, and he lives in North Africa, Turkey, Middle East, and parts of the Mediterranean. Okay, he's lethal. And lastly is the death stalker. Anything called death stalker, you're going to be a bit twitchy about. And he lives anywhere from North Africa right the way through to India. Okay, so scorpions, you can come across them pretty much anywhere because they've been transported. Show them a bit of respect. But again, fascinating species. They've never really worried me too much because I've seen loads of them and I know they're not hunting me. Okay, so next one isn't a creepy crawly. However, I thought it needed to be mentioned if we're talking about things with toxicity. Okay, and this is snakes. So, because there are so many species of snake, I will say to you, firstly, do your research for wherever you're going and make sure you're aware of the dangerous species. Okay, if you're bitten by a snake, one of the first and most essential things you must do before sitting down and staying calm is identify what bit you. Okay, wherever you're going to get aid or rescue or hospital treatment from, they're going to need to identify the species. Right, simple as that. So this is my rules with snakes, and this is my personal rules with snakes. Unless I am absolutely positive in identification, I treat all snakes as deadly. Okay, all snakes. When I'm travelling in areas where I know there are snakes, I tread carefully, lightly. I wear boots that cover the lower part of my leg as much as possible, and you can buy snake-proof boots. I wear loose clothing around my lower legs. Okay, so in the event that I am tagged, it's liable to actually tag my trousers and not me. I take it from somebody that has actually been bitten twice by adders, both times on the lower leg, both moving through undergrowth, and not seeing it till it was too late. And again, with most snake species, they're non-aggressive. They're not actually out hunting you. But if you come into their domain, you put a shadow or a light over them, they will go into attack mode, i.e. they will do everything they can to protect themselves. 9 times out of 10, they just want to get away. Okay. If I'm in somewhere that is prevalent with snakes, the other thing I do is I will carry a stick and I move, and this is learning my own lesson, move the undergrowth around in front of me and also tap the path. Okay, keep tapping that stick. Snakes are sensitive to vibration, and as I said, 9 times out of 10 they will get out of your way. Okay, if I'm moving through dense vegetation and it's somewhere where there's arboreal snakes, i.e. snakes that climb, what I will use is a stick to move things out the way, and I'm looking at all times and aware of what I'm looking for, and try not to brush against things. Okay, some of the smaller species of arboreal snakes are quite famous for tagging people in the head because they've just walked through the undergrowth, something brushes against them, next thing, little tap on the head, they've been envenomated. So again, wear a hat. Okay, move things out of the way, be a bit careful. It's all you can do. Now, never tease, never corner, never attempt to pick up any snake whatsoever. Even some of the non-venomous ones can tag you, okay, and cause you a nasty infection, nasty bacterial infection, or an allergic reaction. So best left alone. Okay, always wear stout boots, shake out clothing, shake out bedding, be aware of you are. Okay, there are no rules for identifying dangerous snakes. Not all cobras will flatten their head before striking. Not all rattlesnakes will rattle their rattle before striking. Okay? Each species must be learnt individually, and you must treat them with the ultra respect that they deserve. Okay? Okay. And again, as I say, treat them all as if they're deadly. And if you are bitten by a snake, even if you're unsure, seek immediate first aid or immediate help. Okay, that's snakes. Right, let's get back to the critters. Right, this one gives more people the heebie-jeebies than anything else. However, it's the one that is least likely to do you any major harm, and that is the leech. Okay, so leeches are not in themselves that dangerous. Okay, what is dangerous again is like the mosquito and the tick, is the blood, bacteria, and possible parasites in their gut getting into you. Now, the leech is a non-regurgitative, so he doesn't pump blood back into you to let go. He just lets go. Okay, he's had his fill, and he's off. Digest it, find something else. Easy as that. Okay. Now, if you do get a leech on you, don't squeeze it, don't sting it, don't burn it, don't put acids on it, don't put chemicals on it, right? Because what you will force it to do is to vomit. Okay, you don't want it to do that. It goes, right? What you want to do, take something like a card, slide that underneath it, break the bite, flick it away. Okay, keep an eye on the wound for infection, secondary infection, anaphylaxis, and again, when you get home, if need be, if you show any sign of any symptoms, seek medical help. Okay, go to the hospital. Now, there are many thousands of species of leech, from very, very small to huge, but they all have two things in common. They all secrete an anesthetic in their saliva, and they all secrete an anticoagulant. Now, if you can't remove the leech without damaging him, squeezing him, crushing him, and so on, let him have his fill and drop off. I know it's easier for me to say that and do it, but bear in mind, I've had a few on me in the past, okay? And people are always talking about being smothered in them. Yes, that has been known to happen. In areas, some very rare occasions, in swampy areas, people have gone into the water and came out and found they're covered in leeches. Yes, at that point you need to remove them. Again, apply my old equation with drinking water from an unsafe source. Which is going to kill you first, the blood loss or the disease? Disease can be treated. Let's get these buggers off and stop the blood loss, because they do secrete an anticoagulant. However, you would absolutely have to be covered for that to become a risk. Now, leeches, you can prevent leeches again by using insect repellents, correct clothing manner, okay? Not swimming, in areas where you know it could be infested with leeches. Okay, so a little bit of prevention goes a long, long way. Yeah, and again, like I say, be careful in how you remove them. You don't want to turn them into a regurgitative. So that's leeches, and I know they're hideous, but I've had a few on me, and you know what the funny thing is? Don't tend to notice them until they're pretty much done feeding anyhow, because at that point the weight of them starts tapping you on the arm or the leg or the groin even, and then you go, "Oh, the hell's that?" Have a look. You go, "Bloody hell, it's a leech." Okay, so that's leeches. Now, what I'm going to get into now is some of the other more common ones. So let's talk about ants, bees. Sorry, not ants. Let's talk about wasps, bees, and hornets. Okay, all three of these contain three common chemicals within their sting or their venom, but they also have other chemicals that vary depending on the species. But all of them will have acetylchlorine, histamine, and kinins, in their venom. Okay, now it's the histamine that causes the allergic reaction and can trigger anaphylaxis, and anybody can develop that at any time, from as simple as one sting. I've known beekeepers that have been stung thousands of times, and then one day it just triggers it. Okay, know this: once you have an allergic reaction, then you will have others if you are stung again. Okay, bees inject and die. They leave the sac with the venom and the stinger in you. That needs to be removed immediately. Wasps and hornets can sting multiple times. It doesn't kill them. Okay. Bees will inject up to 50 micrograms of venom. A wasp will inject between 2 and 15 micrograms of venom. And a hornet, depending on the species and size, can inject up to 100 micrograms. Okay. Don't get stung by a hornet. Nasty, nasty things. However, stings from hornets are quite rare, except for where people mess with them. And again, wasps don't want to sting you. Hornets don't naturally want to sting you. Bees don't naturally want to sting you unless you become a threat to their hive or themselves. Bees, unlike the other two, will tend to tell you. They know they're going to die if they sting you. And even in my workshop, where I have a bee's nest every single year because that's where they live, if I'm working in there and I get too close to the area that their nest is in, they start to bump into me. So there's a top tip. If you're walking in an environment and you start, oh, bloody bees are bouncing off me, that's their first indicator warning. They do this to all large animals, and it's a way of them saying, go away, you're getting too close to the nest. If you keep going, you will get stung. Okay. Now, all three of these species will release a pheromone when they sting, and that is a pheromone that tells the rest of the members of the clan, sting him. Okay, you are marked. You need to get yourself from that location as soon as possible. Distances vary depending on the species. Okay, no. So, what can I say about bees, wasps? Well, avoid them. Bees, wasps, and hornets, avoid them if you can. If you're stung, it's very rarely it actually kills unless it is a massive number of multiple stings. Okay, all these creatures need to be treated with respect. Okay, but the most common cause of death from bee, wasp, or hornet sting is anaphylaxis. So I wasn't going to come back to it, but it's anaphylactic shock. It's the allergy to the histamines and the sting that causes it. So if you are allergic, you need to carry an EpiPen with you if you're going out into the wilds. In fact, you should have one with you at all times. And anybody that's putting together a good first aid kit needs to think about that if it's legal and okay with your country. Right? Remove the stinger if it's a bee. If not, just keep the wound clean. It will ease with time. My favourite method for easing the pain is an ice cube. Okay, put an ice cube on there. That helps numb it. There are sprays and squirts and that you can buy that have varying effects, but I tend to think of it as the point the venom's already in. It's already in there. Okay, unless I'm actually injecting it into that, yeah, it doesn't have much in the way of an effect. Okay, then, so let's come to the really the last couple. All right, now this first one, ants. Ants are everywhere. You're going to find ants no matter where you are camping. You won't find the ants. The ants will find you. We've all had it. They're incredible creatures. Okay, um, there are species of ants that will purposely attack human beings. Okay, but only because they're looking for a food source. Okay, you have things like the driver ant, which will cover massive areas, highly destructive. Okay, you have things like the bullet ant and the fire ant, extremely painful bites that have been known to induce heart failure. Okay, people have had heart attacks. It's that painful that they've got that worked up. They've had a heart attack. Okay, so ants need to be shown respect. Now, what tends to happen with ants is a multiple bite situation. Invariably, you've sat too close to the nest, and the soldiers have come and got you, and they really just want to tell you to go away. Ant venom isn't toxic. Okay, it's formic acid. It hurts like hell to varying degrees depending on the species. Okay, it's just one of those things. If you get bitten by the ants and you haven't had an allergic reaction, yeah, you just got to sit and suffer. Okay, get the ants off you, clean the wounds, keep them clean, watch for a secondary infection, and again, watch for the allergic reaction. Um, all ant stings contain formic acid. That's the main ingredient. Um, yeah, it's an acid, so they say you can neutralise it with alkalines, but it's already injected in. So what I tend to do, what I find works for me, is an alkaline soap, a good hard scrub down with that. Yeah, take painkillers, grin and bear it. Little swines, it happens. Best thing to do is to avoid them, be aware of where they are, and just show them a bit of respect. Last creature that I want to hit you with, and this one in my training manual is quite specific in dealing with it. And it's the one that a lot of people don't realise, and that's caterpillars. Right? Caterpillars are the universal ninja. They look pretty nondescript. You look at it and you go, oh, the pretty colours, this little caterpillar. Oh, it turns into a butterfly and it's sweet. No, invariably, if it's a hairy caterpillar, don't touch it, don't go near it, try and avoid it like the plague. Nasty, nasty things. You get those hairs into pores in your skin or into your skin. They contain toxins that will irritate and drive you absolutely up the wall. Take it from me, I've had one down my back, and the rash and the irritation that caused created absolute misery for weeks. Okay, stay away from them. And again, when we talk about insects as food, never consume a caterpillar. The majority of caterpillars will feed on toxic plants. You ingest that, you've poisoned yourself with the plant. Okay, so fine to look at your caterpillars, wonderful to see. Some of them are absolutely fantastic. Leave them the hell alone. Okay, it's just they got their place in the world. And in actual fact, my book, in my training manual that I've written, it just says caterpillars in capitals, underlined 3 times, avoid. Okay, there are so many different types and effects caused by the hairs, yeah, all of which will be bad. Right, underneath that in capitals, do not eat or ingest, even for the birds. Okay. So there you go, creepy crawlies. What can I say? Now, I'll add some quick footnotes to this. I know I haven't covered every type of creepy crawly and insect that you could come across. However, that would take hours and hours and hours. This is just a quick generalisation of some of the most common ones you're going to see, and maybe give you an idea to do the research for wherever you live. Likewise, there are many plants that you need to avoid, you need to learn. There are many fish that can be toxic, poisonous, or venomous. Okay, so again, you need to look at where you're going, do your research. Identification is always key, and in a lot of cases, prevention is better than cured. So a lot of these things, by just going through simple procedures like insect repellents and that, you can save yourself a world of misery. Allergic reaction, again, I'll come back to that, is the most common killer. Okay, closely followed by fear. Okay, so being bitten by a snake that you don't know might not be toxic, but that fear can induce heart failure through pure panic. If you're bitten, stung, or envenomated by any creature, one of the main things to do is stay calm, try and keep your pulse and your heart rate down and even. Okay, it stops the venom from spreading, so quickly seek immediate aid and help. Okay, easy as that. Simple as that. Ain't much further we go. Hope this doesn't give you nightmares. This has been Mickey, Hampshire Outdoors and Survival. Guys, take it easy. Have fun. Be good. Right? Enjoy yourselves. Don't have nightmares. See you on the next video. Please like, subscribe, share. Love those you do. Forgive those you don't. Peace and light be upon you all. This is Mickey, Hampshire Outdoors and Survival. Mickey out.